Hello everyone! The technique for this week's impromptu challenge is pros and cons. Pros and cons is a very easy technique that you can use whenever you are given a statement that you either need to agree or disagree. And the main benefit of using this technique is that it buys you time so that you don't have to give your position until the very end if you decide to. So good questions that you can use for this will be things like big hard question to answer, like do you support cloning? What do you think of trickle-down economics? Should everyone have a role model? For this week's question we will use, is traveling the world a waste of time? In order to use this technique, you need 4 separate steps. The first step, as usual, is to repeat the question again. Is traveling a waste of time? Second step is to state all of the pros. Is traveling a waste of time? I don't think so, because if I travel from New Zealand to Hawaii, I actually gain time. I gain a day. Step 3, state the cons. Traveling sure does feel like a waste of time, especially when I've just traveled for 30 hours from Sydney to Stockholm. And in that flight, I couldn't do anything other than sleeping. Step 4, summarize by listing your pros and your cons, and then maybe take a position if you want to. To conclude, given the fact that I can gain a day by traveling, but on the other hand, I feel like traveling is a waste of time while I'm on a plane, I think it depends where you're traveling from and where you're arriving at and how long the traveling length should be. So if I put all of that into one single answer to the question, is traveling a waste of time? This is how I would do it. I think the answer to whether traveling is a waste of time or not depends. On one side, if I travel from New Zealand to Hawaii, I will actually gain a day. That's not a waste of time, that's gaining time. On the other hand, my experience where I just traveled from Stockholm to Sydney takes 30 hours of flight sure feels like a waste of time. I couldn't do anything on the plane. Even if I read a book, I will feel dizzy, and that was not good. In conclusion, traveling is not really a waste of time because I can definitely gain time instead. But when I'm traveling, it sure does feel like a waste of time. So I think in this case, this statement, I'm not sure what the answer will be. It depends on where you're traveling from and where you arrive at and how long the length of the travel is. That's it for this week's impromptu challenge. For you, the question you can answer using pros and cons will be, should everyone get a car by the time they're 18? Have fun with that, and I will see you next week.